Welcome, welcome, welcome to Miss Debbie Says. I am Miss Debbie. I created this show to share my knowledge and experience about relationships because what I know for sure is there's nothing more important in life than relationships. Today's show's question is, why is resentment a problem in a relationship? Before I get started, if you're looking for state-approved child development training, go to www.childcareedu.com. That is www.childcareedu.com. Our conversation today is based on the movie Acrimony. Hopefully you guys saw it, and if you didn't, let me just warn you, this might be a show spoiler, okay? And joining me today is my brother Mark. Hey, Mark. What's up?
What's up? How y'all doing?
So, you guys, both of us seen the movie. And once again, the question is, why is resentment a problem in a relationship? And we're going to refer to the movie and maybe some of our own personal experience. To answer that question, let me just say what the meaning of resentment. Resentment is a mixture of disappointment, anger, and fear. That is what resentment is. And so what we notice in the movie is the main character had a whole bunch of resentment. And her resentment changed into bitterness and ill feelings, which is the meaning of acrimony. And so the movie went through all of her bitterness, all of her resentment and how it added up to that. So, but our question today is, why is resentment a problem in a relationship? That's why, huh, Mark? Because resentment will turn into bitterness. And like we saw on the movie. And I suppose that we don't see that often. You know, we don't really see relationships turning that bad, would you say? But
I would.
Yeah. But
that's something you can only probably see in the movie. If you actually see this in real life, then yeah, that's kind of bad.
It's a scary thought. But I think in real life, people get close to it. You know, I do think there's some people out there that play some sick, dangerous games in real life. Maybe they don't really lead to somebody dying, but I don't know. Resentment bitterness cause people to do some crazy, crazy, insane things. But most of the time, when resentment gets so bad, people will normally separate, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Well, if that happens, then that's the best thing. It's when you don't separate is when it gets worse.
Yeah. So just talking about the movie for a minute, she now I say, you guys, that she could have really I think she just went too far with her giving. That's what I think. I think she gave entirely too much, and she didn't really consider her own feelings about things. She just gave. But you said something that was really interesting, Mark, that I never thought about until we were discussing this show. You said that she was resentful way before she got in this relationship. Why did you say that?
Yeah. Well, I got a question I want to ask you.
Okay.
I'll answer that.
Okay.
After, I know you like talking about the beginning of the movie, but after you seen that whole movie, how can you say she gave too much? I just I don't understand that. Because if somebody gives me, if I gave somebody $1 million and somebody gave me $10 million back, I can't see that being a loss. But anyway, I just wanted to say that. So I get back to your
Well,
question.
in her case, time he gave it back to her, she was sick already. She already lost her mind. How about that?
I think she was sick in the beginning of the movie. Is what we was getting ready to get into. But from the beginning of the movie, she showed signs of mental illness, in my opinion. And this was before I even watched the whole movie through, because the whole movie just actually confirmed it. But right in the beginning of the movie, he bumped into her, and all her books failed, and she got totally hysterical. And in her hystericalness, or I'm not using that word correctly,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. While she was being hysterical, she also was admitting, as she was narrating, how much she liked the guy. So that right there is showing so many signs of like craziness. Like you're hysterical, and at the same time you're liking somebody, and you're hysterical because somebody bumped into you. All of that to me is craziness. First of all, when you bump into somebody, you be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and you can still be liking them. You be like, "Damn, what?" But damn, I'm glad I bumped into you. If I bumped into somebody that I like, I'd be like, "Damn, at least I know I bumped into him, but damn, I like him." You see what I'm saying? Nah, I bumped into you, and you crazy ass, and you. Why ain't you watching where you going? But I like you. Does that sound like that? All of that sounds like crazy to me. So that's why I think she was crazy in the beginning.
Yeah.
So her feelings are so mixed up. I mean, your feelings are supposed to be on the same level at all times.
Well,
They're
I
not
think he
supposed to be
thought
like
that
all
she
over
was just mad because it was raining and she lost all of her work, right? And why was he watching?
Okay, but it's still that she bumped into.
I mean, because but Mark, we do that. We do stuff like that every day. I mean, you know, you at the store, and if you're projecting, it does. It lasts for a second. Hers only lasts for a second.
And somebody hits you with their car, that still was an accident. The point is, are you all right? Are you going to live? Or just somebody get hurt, or you need to call?
Yeah, but people go off.
Not what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah,
huh?
But they do. That happens. So people go off, and they go off for a second, and they come back to reality. Because sometimes you just projecting. Sometimes you had a bad day. You just projecting. You just going. You mad. You just mad at something else, and that person is there because you just projecting. And that don't always mean that you have a mental problem. I mean, I don't know if there was any way for him to know that she had a mental problem right then. I'm only talking about then, by bumping into her. I think he should have known that when she ran into the car, though. I think it was real clear. I mean, when she ran her car into his trailer and tripped it over. I think that was really clear. But I guess maybe by then he already had feelings for her. What you think?
I think that was like opposites attracting. Because remember, he brought her stuff back to her dorm. So that means that he was attracted to her, what I call craziness. He was actually attracted to her because brought all of her stuff back because he felt some kind of way about getting her so upset.
Yeah. So
And a
you
lot
think,
of things throughout the movie that she was getting upset about was him going back to her, apologizing for making her so upset. So I think that was the attraction for both of them because he
do,
was such an opposite.
yes. So do you think he thought that she was crazy? Or what do you think he was thinking?
No, I think that he felt the attraction to her because she was so opposite from him.
Got you.
He
So,
didn't have any of those kind of feelings.
yes.
He never thought to bump into somebody would make them that hysterical.
Yeah.
He never thought sleeping with another girl would make a person go that crazy.
Yes.
I mean, once you watch the movie, you can see how they were so on the opposite lines of their personalities, and they felt attracted to
Yes.
each other because
Like
of
most
those
people.
opposites.
So I get that part. So like most people. So now though, so what I was talking about was she 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 had some mental issues. And
Yes.
when should he have realized that she had mental issues?
Oh, you can. People say they can, but you can't.
You can't.
Doctors can't even do it, even though they have their tests and stuff, and they say that they can. But in reality, you can't. It's just how you think. If a person cut another person's head off, they'll say they're crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just how you think about it.
Yeah.
But how he gonna know when that girl was crazy? He
Okay.
came up to her at work with a check and some flowers to pay her back tenfold, and he thought that he did his due diligence.
He did. And he did think that that was going to fix everything. But it didn't because she had mental problems. I mean, her bitterness crossed over to where she just couldn't come back from, because it cost her life. So she couldn't come back from it. So it wasn't nothing that he could do, right? But then people, so let's get back on the topic of resentment, because that's what we're really talking about. Why was she so resentful, and how resentment can really cause big problems in relationships. So I do want to say that I think resentment happens. I just think they happen in every relationship. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. From what I see, and from my opinion, and even in my own relationship, I've been resentful before. Probably more times than I even know about. And so, how does it cause a problem? In this movie, it was a big problem because she was resentful because she felt that she was given and she was not getting back in return. And because she wasn't getting back what she was giving, okay, maybe I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah,
she was not getting out of the relationship what she needed. She didn't feel like she was getting back. She was getting from him what she needed. Maybe that's a better way of saying it.
Which was what? Maybe she didn't know.
She felt that she was the only one in the relationship working to take care of both of them, to take care of herself and him. She felt that way. She felt like she was the one taking care of both of them.
She was.
Huh?
She was the one that was
Yes.
taking care of both of them.
And so she
So
felt
that's
that
just saying
why
she did.
didn't
What is
he?
it that she wanted?
She wanted him to take care of both. She wanted him to help her take care of both of them. She did not
What
want.
she said in the beginning that he wasn't going to do. He made that very clear in the beginning that he was not going to do that. That it was going to be her that was going to be doing it all. And she said yes to that. Even though it made her bitter, she said yes to it. He did not deceive her.
How did she do? How
way.
did that happen, Mark? She asked him.
She had money that was left to her when her mother died. She had money, she had a house. He had nothing but a dream. And his promise to her is that his dream was going to come true and she was going to be happy. That was the whole plot of the whole movie.
Okay.
And all of that, what he said, so happens, if you've seen the movie, was true. Now, when you get back to her thing was, and I'm surmising here because maybe other people have other opinions. She wasn't being very realistic, in my opinion. Because she said yes to all of that stuff that he said that he was bringing to the table, but she didn't like none of it, even though she said yes to it. She didn't like the fact that she was going to be taking care of him, the fact that they was going to be living at her mother's house, and the fact that she was going to be working 3 jobs.
Yes.
But she said yes to it.
I like
She said yes
that.
to all of those things.
She did.
And then all through the movie, she kept trying to get him to change his mind about the things that he brought to the table. She wanted him to work. He did not want to work. She wanted him to pay some of the bills. He did not want to pay none of the bills. She wanted him to do all of these things that he made it, in my opinion, very clear that he wasn't going to do.
Yes. I agree with you 100%.
And what made her, to me, bitter was because I guess she thought that she could do it. Hey, I'm going to give you another example of why I think that too. And it has to do with going like deeper into the movie. Because remember when she told him to get out of her face and all that stuff and she didn't want to talk to him no more, right? And then her sisters said that it'll ease your pain if you go out with whatever that guy's name was, one of her old boyfriends. And she did. She went out with him and they spent time together. And when the husband came back to her job with the flowers in the check, she went back to the house and told that dude that he had a little dick and she never liked him, and told all her sisters it's all their fault, and why did they set her up with him and she don't even like him. So in other words, she showed her craziness in so many ways. Like, if you didn't like the guy, why was you with him? If your sisters told you to be with him, you could have said, no, I want to be with him. If your sisters was telling you what to do, you could easily tell your sisters, no, I don't want to do that. But she do all of these things that people say and then don't like them later and then come back and say, you guys made me do that.
I know.
Where were you at doing all of this stuff? Where is your decisions? Where is all of your thoughts? Why does everything have to do with somebody else? That is what's telling me that something was wrong with her.
Yes,
you don't have any thoughts of your own.
Yes, go ahead, keep going. I agree. I'm just saying, yes, I agree with you. That was it in a nutshell. That's the bottom line is she had mental problems. She had mental problems. Big time, really, like all the way in the beginning, just like you say. It's so true. It's like, what are you thinking? He was very clear. We was talking about clarity earlier. He was very, very clear. And she wasn't. Clear. She wasn't clear at all. She so wasn't. She just like saying yes, and she didn't really mean yes. Or she said yes, but she really didn't mean it. And she got mad at him.
She didn't have no realistic thoughts about what she was saying.
Yeah, she didn't. He
was clear.
He was clear.
He ain't never go get no job. He ain't never do no work.
No.
They ain't show all the stuff that he was doing, because I was trying to figure out what the hell is he doing. But I guess that battery was taking up so much time.
I know. And I think, remember when the lady was...
He had a good physique and everything, so I guess maybe he was going to the gym. Maybe
I know, I'm right.
There was stuff that he was doing.
Yeah.
While she was working 3 jobs. But, hey, when stuff worked, I stopped asking questions. Because all the way at the end, somebody giving me a check for $10 million. I really don't give a fuck what you was doing.
Yeah.
Because ain't nothing crazy about me.
I know.
I've been like, oh shit, thank you.
So he really was. But, he was working there. Remember when the girl was looking at all them videos? Remember, he made tons of videos. I forgot.
Yeah,
remember? She sat down and she watched all of them, right? And so the assumption is that he made a whole bunch of them, and the girl watched them all. So he was, he was doing something because that joint worked. Yeah, he was working. He was
actually really living his dream.
He was.
But the movie didn't get into it to show you how deep he was in it. Until you just said that.
They did, Mark. I think we was so... Really, they did imply it. I think we were so focused on her that we wasn't... Like, if you really just focus on him, then you'll see it, don't you? Because now that you're saying it... Right. Now that you're saying it, they implied it so many times. She would come home. He was in there with that battery with all that stuff. She was buying stuff, and he had the stuff. He was using the stuff. He was really working on it. By the time he blew out all the electricity.
Remember, it was showing him was getting close to the decision.
Yes.
And then something happened. I have to watch it again, but something happened.
Yeah.
And he turned over the table. And he threw all his work across the room, and she came in there and said, what happened? But remember, he was so close.
Yes.
So it do imply that.
Yes, it does.
That he was doing some really, really good work on his dream, and he was suffering from it because nobody believed in him. But her.
Yes.
But he thought that the belief that she had in him was real. When the belief that she had in him came with a whole bunch of conditions. Because now, just look at it like this.
But really, here's the sad part, Mark. Can I interrupt you?
Hold on, Debbie. I just want to say that when you said that we was going to talk about this, one thing that I gave really good thought to was, what would have happened if his dream never came true? And I thought about that for so long. And I thought to myself that if this was a friend of mine or whatever, because it's hard for me to think of me being a woman going after a man's dream. So the only other way I can think of it, if that was my girl or that was my wife, that was her dream, and that didn't come out right, the only thing I could have said to myself and my sanity was, I believed in that dream too. It just ain't come true. So I would have never felt no resentment or none of that because I believed in it too. It's just that we were the only two that believed in it.
I know. But guess what happened? She was listening to her sisters. And really she was.
Like I said.
She was listening to her sisters.
She never had her. No, but she was listening to everybody.
Yes.
She never, ever in this whole movie had her own thoughts. She was listening to him.
She didn't.
He kept promising her all the things that he was going to do. So she listened to him. She listened to her sister. She listened to her old boyfriend. She never, unless you could tell me in that movie that where she had an original thought. Because in that whole movie, I don't see. Only thing I've seen coming from her was craziness.
I know, because remember her at work? How she was sitting at her desk like she was getting ready to fall asleep? Like she was even like that at work. Like you said, the key here and the thing to remember is that she was mentally ill. She had a mental problem. I don't know another word to use. I hope that's not insensitive, because I don't want to sound insensitive. But she had some mental issues going on because she was listening to everybody, and because the average person, right? The average person for real, Mark, would not have agreed to what she agreed to. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, and thank God for my husband. He is so supportive for my dreams, right? But you got to be honest and say what the boundaries are. You know what I mean? And she didn't have any boundaries. She didn't have any boundaries. But I do see what you said, how he thought that she was okay. He thought she really believed in the dream like he did. He really did believe that. Right? And she that is so true. I mean, I saw that. I agree with you. He really thought that she was in there because she really believed in it. And I think he was hurt when she said all them things to him. But then he still was good because he did go to work. He's like, okay. When she finally told him the truth, how she really felt, he went to work.
Did that felt to him? Did you know how that felt to him?
Yes.
Because in the movie, it made it very clear that if he was to go to work to him, that he was giving up on his dream. Because that's how I took it.
Yeah. But he was a true...
work.
But Mark, he was a true entrepreneur. Because he realized, because what he didn't do, and I could speak from that perspective, is give up on his dream. Because it's like, okay, you gave up on this dream. Okay. And the beautiful part is he wasn't mad at her about that. He just like, okay, I'm going to go to work. He said, okay, I'm going to go to work. He didn't get mad at her about that.
Disappointments are disappointments.
Yes.
Disappointments don't mean you have to go crazy.
You're right, Mark. I see what you're trying to say. That's true.
It's just disappointing. Yeah. It showed it on his face that he made up his mind. When he went to wash those dishes, it showed on his face that he made up his mind that he was going to do it, but he wasn't going to give up on his dream.
Okay, so let me
told him to go drive the trucks. He did the same thing.
Yes.
They showed him with the camera all on his face, and his face was shaking. Like, I'm going to do this because y'all talking me into it, but I'm not giving up on my dream.
Yeah.
But you could tell to him, it felt like...
And he wasn't giving up on his relationship either. Yeah. But he
never gave up on the relationship.
Yeah. He wasn't going... He was going to do both.
That's how attracted he was to her.
Mm-hmm.
He was so attracted to her.
Sound, Mark. Go back to the camera. Go back to the mic. You moving.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so that's true. And so I want to make a point here talking about resentment, because resentment, once again, is a mixture of disappointment, anger, and fear. So now we were just talking about him being disappointed. disappointed. He dealt with it. He dealt with his disappointment. And it felt like he said to himself, okay, she's given up on my dream, but so what? As long as I don't give up on my dream, her giving up on my dream is not important, or it's not what I need right now. It's not going to stop me. Yes.
Well, it's not going to stop.
That's better. Yeah. It's not going to stop me. And so he dealt with his disappointment, being disappointed, and he just threw it and he just dealt with it, and it was over with. So that's why his disappointment did not, in his anger, did not turn into resentment. Because the fear never even came. Absolutely. Fear never even came into play. And so he was angry. Absolutely. He was angry, though. You can see his anger, but he did it anyway. But he did not make a choice, and he didn't feel like he had to. And I can understand that.
I'm gonna bring that point home on one scene.
Okay.
And that was the scene when he did get to go talk to them, and they offered him that $500,000. That right there was the whole key.
Or I think it was $8,000.
Because he was like, yeah, whatever that was. A lot of money.
Okay.
And he looked at them like, y'all, you know what? Y'all must have lost your mind. I know what I got here. Y'all know what I got here. And y'all think that I was so influenced that I don't know what I got here.
Yes.
He always knew.
Yes.
So that right there would tell you that his relationship with her meant so much to him, but he never gave up. He always knew what he had.
Yes.
He knew it.
Yes, entrepreneurs out there. Woo, we know. Right? We know. We know. Mark, we know. We know.
And to me, I can believe in somebody's dream. That's whether it worked or not. That's why I'm trying to tell you, the movie was about sickness. You can't stop.
It was about that.
Or tell yourself not to believe in somebody. You don't know enough.
Yes.
Well, I know I don't. If you had a dream about something that I didn't know.
Mike, get back to the mic.
I only have two choices. That's whether I'm going to believe in your dream or I'm not going to believe it. Because if I don't know nothing about it, I can't be setting boundaries or doing it or trying to be all in control. First of all, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's number one. I'm only going with this because you believed in it. Was supposed to be how she felt about that. And that was supposed to be about win or lose.
Yes.
That wasn't supposed to harbor any conditions with it. I don't have no boundaries either. If I don't believe in your dream, I believe in your dream and I believe in you. And that's how I'm going forward. There's not going to be no resentment, even if you don't make it. I just believed in it because you did. I don't know enough about everything to say whether something's going to work or something's not, enough to put boundaries on my conditions of how I'm going to be dealing with you.
I know.
Especially in a relationship.
However, what I do want to say is if she was in her right mind, I would like to think, like, if it was me, I'm just saying, because I like to think I'm in my right mind. If it was me and I was in her position, like, I would have made it very clear that I believe in your dream, but I cannot take care of us. You're going to have to help
That's
me.
why I said
I would have made that very, very clear. I love you.
Or just say no.
Yes.
That to me was very simple.
Yes.
Whatever she didn't want to do, if she didn't want to go get that second job, she should have said no.
Yes.
If she didn't want to go get that third job,
I'm not a no person, right? And I know you are, because you said just say no. Now I do have a difficult time saying no, just like saying no. Like I said before, if it was me, I would have said, like, even all the way back to the first thing when he asked for the money for the tuition. Like I said, I would have said to him, I'm not going to give you the money but I would loan you the money. And I really would expect for him to pay me back. I really would have.
Well,
I believe.
you would have
Yeah.
expected him to pay you back before he pays you back because he did pay her back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, before then, so he wouldn't have been able to tell me, I'll pay you back. What he wouldn't have been able to do is say, I'll pay you back after I get the money from this battery. No.
Actually, a person can only pay you back when they pay you back. It's how you think of it. Like I said, if a person got a job and they make him $50 an hour and they say, I'm going to pay you back next Friday, you want to believe that. You don't need to have that on the contract.
Well, you could. Well, I don't have to have a contract.
It's telling you that they're going to pay you back.
Well, they got to tell me when. You got, and it's got to be real.
Tell you that they're going to pay you back, and they don't even have a job. And you still have expectations that they're going to pay you back next week. Means that you're crazy.
Yes.
You don't mean that there's something wrong with them.
Okay, Mark, please, you keep moving from the mic. Your voice keep going in and out. So, talk.
Oh, that's only because.
Okay, yeah, stay right there. Stay just right there. Because then it won't go out. So what I mean is, now that is ridiculous. I wouldn't think he's gonna say, okay, I'm gonna pay you back next week. I don't think that. I think that in his position, I would expect for you to pay it back. Now, if he would have said to me, well, yeah, when I get the money from the people from the battery, then I'll pay back. Then I would have said no, because what if you don't get the money from the battery? How you going to pay me back? Realistically, I just want to know realistically. I'm not talking. He don't have no job, so it ain't no way he ain't gonna be paying me back. Let's know $30,000 in a month or so. So I really want for him to tell me how he's going to pay me back, because the message that I want to send to him is that I'm not going to give you this money. Now let's just go back for a minute. Let's just go back though. Let's just say I wanted to give him money. Could it be that I want to give him the money? Yes. Let's just deal from there, because that is true. I have it. I mean, what? I got $300,000. What's $50,000? I could just give it to him because I love him and I believe in his dream. It could be that too. Okay, so I just gave it to him. So then, what am I upset about? That shouldn't even be resentment at all. You see how her face looked like, and the only reason why her face looked like that because she was listening to her sisters, and she was listening to everybody else. But if I felt in my heart that I wanted to give him $50,000, then on a real tip, I would have just gave it to him. We wouldn't have been on our merry way, and that's keeping it real, right? We would have, and I wouldn't have been angry about it. That's keeping it real. Now, if I would have felt like her, then like you said, just say no, or I would have felt like, can we at least talk about it? But knowing me. So it could go.
That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because we can sit here and talk for an hour, and it still won't come back to, are you going to give me the money or are you not? And if you are going to give it to me, you going to have to be the person that's going to have to be thinking realistic, because you're the only person that's giving. The person that's receiving don't have any obligation to feel any kind of way. That's what people keep getting things mixed up at. Only thing that person that's receiving has to deal with is how they gonna feel when they can't give the money back. They have to deal with that. But they're not giving up nothing. They didn't give up nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing they gave up was a dream. The person that's giving is the person that has all responsibility about what it is that they're doing.
Yeah, that they feel. That's true.
Because when you giving, that's the only thing that you actually really were functions to do when you were created, was to give.
Okay,
So
so
you don't have no reason to feel guilty or nothing because that's actually what you're supposed to do.
okay, so keeping it moving. So then I would have gave him that because I probably would have. You know, I loved him. I probably would have gave him to him, and then I wouldn't have felt nothing. I wouldn't even had that face that she had because I decided I was going to give him my accepted responsibility.
Right.
That I
Now
decided.
you talking like
Now the next thing come up when it came to the car. Now that is so different. Now
well, no,
that's
still the same level. You're still on the same level.
yes, I
That guy
do.
would've took a
But
boat
that's
ride.
the time mark when I would have said no. Now I think I would have been no. I don't think I would have responded at all. I don't think that I would have been responded out because this is how I felt. And I felt it when I was looking at the movie, and I felt like this now. I have a car. If they call you, babe, I'll come and get you. If you can't wait for me to come and get you, then hey, you're gonna miss that boat. I'm sorry. You can catch a cab, you catch an Uber, Lyft. Listen, hey, no,
Well, that's because you identify with it.
huh?
But I don't identify with that.
Okay,
I'm not coming to get you at all. I would rather buy you a car than to come get you.
okay.
So if I was how you feel about things, that wouldn't have been my turning point.
Mark, you're away from the mic again. I don't know how you doing that.
I'm not going away from
Okay.
the mic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this Bluetooth because I haven't even moved.
Oh,
But the Bluetooth.
now you
might be
sound
moving.
good. Oh,
Yeah, but I didn't
Okay.
move nowhere.
we only got a
I
few
think
more.
it's the Bluetooth.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But
Sorry,
anyway.
you guys.
What I'm trying to say is that we can only identify. So our statements come from how we identify.
Okay.
And I don't identify with that card thing because I will buy you a car. And I will pay the card note because I don't want to come running to get you. I don't like that. The thought of that disturbs me to the point where I will pay your card note. So that don't work for me. But now, if I'm looking at my bank account and I got 500 grand in my bank and 50 grand of it is gone, I can find it very easy to tell you no when you ask me for another 50. To me, that's easy. We don't have to come to the table. We don't have to talk about nothing. I already gave you what I was going to give you.
Yeah. I mean, I
Now,
do.
if you
That's how I
want to
feel.
talk to me about giving you some more, I mean, you might can talk me into it, but it's still going to be me giving it to you. It's
Yeah.
not going to be no expectations coming from you.
Yes.
That's why when you would have walked up to me on my job with a check and some flowers, I would have just been happy.
Yes.
Because I would have been like, finally, everything that you believe in is coming true for you. But when
Yes.
I'm giving you money, it's only because I believe in your dream. I don't have no guarantees that you will be able to give me a check one day walking up to my office. I don't know
Yes.
stuff like that.
But I know for me, if he would have, the thing with the conversation, it would have went. I wouldn't have did that. Well, what if you're not available? Then I would have been. Then you would have caught. What did he do? You would have caught you could catch the bus. You could catch the train. You could catch something. That's how I would have been. But I wouldn't have brought him a car. To me,
He was happy with that. Remember, he caught the bus.
Yes, but no, I'm talking about then, like how he felt
No,
then.
Debbie, I know what you're talking about. I said that he would have been okay with that. Because remember, he caught the bus to his thing.
Yes, he would have been okay with it. He wasn't tripping. To your point, I understand what you're saying, Mark. He was never tripping in the movie. He would have been okay. He did it then. You right. I see what you're saying. He did it then, and he did it. Then he caught the bus all the way in the movie, and he would have did it back then, early in the movie too. He would have caught the bus, right? I think her saying no, he would have been okay with it. Like I would have been like no, because you don't know that person that well. They was just still in the early stages of relationship, or maybe you would have just gave it to the person. But then you still wouldn't feel resentful or disappointed because you know that you decided to give from the heart. But guess what, Mark? Some people, when they give, they after some time go by, they do want something back in return. After so many years.
Oh, that's all you gotta do. Say, oh.
Yeah, they do.
Because if I gave you something, that means you owe me.
And it becomes a problem. I know.
Yeah,
and then it becomes a problem.
I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe you.
Yeah.
When you give me something, I don't feel like I owe you nothing.
Yeah.
Well, take that back. I feel like I owe you, but I don't know if it's the same thoughts that you had. That's the problem. Because I'm sure if somebody say I'll pay you back, they may or may not have intentions of paying you back. But if they do have intentions of paying you back, it might not be in the same realm as how you feel like they should be paying you back. That I agree with.
But I hear resentment a lot. I hear, and I'm sure we hear it a lot where people say, I did all of this for this person and I only got a little bit back in return.
That's
resent.
the meaning of
and
resentment.
Then the relationship, what happens to the relationship is that it kind of stops. It doesn't progress. Like when resentment sets in a relationship, the relationship stops at that point. It doesn't grow any further. And it matter of fact, it just causes distance. But I do see people or hear about people who just stay in a relationship and they just living in the same house with the resentment. But, as we approach the end of this conversation, I do want to say that we don't have to live with resentment. We do get resentful, or maybe some of us, maybe not. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I know in my relationship, and I've been married for about 35 years, so I know that there was time where I had resentment, and like I said, there probably were times that I'm not even conscious of that I had resentment, but I do know it so well now, and I know when I've had it, and I know what I did to change it. And so what I did was I took on the responsibility. Now, I did try to get my husband to go to therapy with me and all that stuff, but my husband said to me that he didn't feel like anything was wrong at all, and that he didn't need any therapy. So sometimes you're in a relationship and the other person don't feel like you feel.
Exactly.
They don't. And that's real. And so I went to therapy by myself. And I learned some things about myself. And I made a lot of I dealt with my own resentment. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes you could go and deal with your own resentment. So I went to therapy. I connected with my creator. Did I leave out my creator? Because I did, didn't I, Mark? I got connected. Or I started paying attention. I got aware. And I started paying attention to my creator, and I got just a little therapy. I probably went to a few sessions. That was very, very helpful. And I got my own self together, me and the creator, right? And I made some changes. I accept responsibility for my own disappointment, for my own hurt and pain. What can I do to fix my own pain that I had? All of that stuff, my anger, my fears, right? I face my fears. What can I do? What can we do? Me and the creator, what can we do together to change my fear, to get rid of my anger, to get rid of my disappointments and stuff? How can I deal with it? And I did. And so by dealing with it, it caused me to change in my relationship. It caused me to change. And when you change, everything around you change, right, Mark? All your
Yeah.
relationship. It can't if you're not putting out and you're not acting the same way that you did, there's no way that the other person can't change. So I start being honest. I start being truthful the way I felt, and some of the things that changed with me when someone would say something to me that was hurtful. I just didn't look at it as hurtful. I looked at it a whole nother way, which caused me to react to it a whole different way, which made the outcome totally different. Did that make sense?
Yeah. That's life.
I didn't even look at it as I didn't even take it as a personal attack. So if if my husband says something to me that would normally hurt me back in the day, I just looked at it a whole different way. I looked at it totally different, which caused me to react differently, which caused the outcome to be different. What I'm trying to say is you don't necessarily need your mate, your husband, your significant other, the other person to change in order for you to change. You can change so that your relationship can keep processing. You could get rid of resentment by dealing with the disappointments, by dealing with the anger, by dealing with the fear, because resentment is a mixture of disappointment, anger, and fear. Deal with them things, change them things. You can even avoid them. There's ways to avoid them. You can see things coming if you're mature enough, right, Mark, with maturity. Like in that movie, they were young, and I know young because my relationship started when I was 15 and 16 years old, and now 40 years later, right? We wise. You can see some things.
I looked at relationships and everything I did. I didn't wait till I was with somebody or when I got married to think that I was in a relationship. All of my friendships from even when I was a child, me dealing with my family, all of that stuff to me was relationship and taught me how to deal with life in general. I don't really separate that stuff. Like I don't separate me and my wife's dealing with me and how I deal with other people. To me, a relationship is a relationship. I don't separate it. I learned about relationships and disappointments way before I ever had a girlfriend. So it was way before I ever even had a wife. I have friends that disappointed me. I have friends who said that they were going to do one thing and didn't do another. I learned about relationships. I learned about disappointment in life way before I was in marriages or.
Oh, Mark, that is so good. That's some good stuff. That is so true. Like, we all did that. I'm so glad you said that. Because we all have. And we should think about it. We have experience. My parents disappointed me.
Yes.
My siblings disappointed me. They made me angry and they made me fearful. They hurt my feelings, right?
Yeah.
Right? And some of the things that I was resentful to my parents. Hey, I ain't ashamed to say, who wasn't? Right?
Well,
so we learned about these things.
That when you get close to them, and I don't know whether it has to do with sex or why people do this with the emotions, but I know that this happens like even when you have sex with somebody. Y'all ain't even getting mad. I had girlfriends when I was young that used to say to me that they were pregnant. And I used to say to them, well, how is it that you're pregnant and we didn't even have sex? And they would say, well, I don't know because I'm pregnant. So right there, that statement should show you how young I was. You had a conversation about being pregnant and you ain't even had sex with the person. So do you understand what I'm saying, though?
I do.
Why I'm telling you that?
Yes.
Because there are things that go on in people's minds that if you're not paying attention, you don't have to wait till I don't know. It seems like some people, they wait till they get somebody close and then they try to do all of this craziness and all of these like craziness thoughts to that person. Like that person is their redeemer. Like you want to make up for all of the stuff that happened to me.
I know, Mark, because I think that's what society, just like the girl, just like the character in Acrimony. I think your families and society tell you that. Like, you know, your mate's supposed to do this and do that.
Yeah.
And they can read your mind. Like, right? Like the guy should have known that he should help her. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like all of that. And I think that's what it is. I think that society, so like, even though we went through these experiences as little children, our parents disappointed us, our friends disappointed, they tell us your mate don't do that. That's what society tells us.
Stupid?
And that's stupid. I know.
That sounds totally retarded.
I know. Right? So I'm glad you mentioned that. That's so important. That's it, Mark. That's it right there. That's it. That's it. We have to, you know what? We have to really unlearn all the foolish stuff that we learned.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And even in this movie, at the end, it proven to be true. Because even her with her mental illness, she told her sisters, y'all shut up. She finally told them. And then she pointed out why y'all should shut up. Because look at y'all own mess. You messy, you messy, you messy.
Yeah.
And y'all ain't no better. Y'all talking all this crap and y'all ain't no better. Y'all just as worse off as I am. And for a second, she had
a lot of people say that they don't like, but that's the one thing that I like about all of Tyler Perry's movies. Because that's the message he be trying to tell people, but I don't think they really get it. Because when Tyler Perry makes a movie, it be so many problems in that movie that people keep dealing with the problems on the surface. They're not really dealing with the message that he's trying to tell you. He's trying to tell you that this girl had problems a long time ago, and a guy was sitting there and he was trying to deal with them because he loved her. That's the real message of that movie.
Yes.
But I don't think people really get it.
Yeah.
They was trying to show you what unconditional love means to one person and how love that's filled with conditions meant to another person.
Yeah.
That's all that whole movie was about.
Yeah.
And they was together.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's the one thing I like about his movies because I understand the message he's trying to give and how crazy it is because we keep thinking that we know. We keep saying what society taught us and we keep acting like we know. You don't know. You can only say you're going to deal with somebody's dream and you're going to believe in it, or you're going to say you don't. You don't know nothing. You can't dictate what that guy's going to do with his life. You can't do none of that stuff. Now, if you think you can, then yeah, it's going to drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Because you're going out of reality if you think that you know what another person want to do just because they said it on.
Or that you even know what the future holds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't know. Because, like you said, he may not have ever got that. But still, he,
Are you going to be able to recognize it?
Yes. Yes.
That girl, she didn't.
Yeah,
she didn't even recognize that he made it. She still thought that was her life.
She didn't.
You just told the guy to get out of your face. How is this still your life?
She didn't.
And he paid you back everything.
Yeah.
So she left reality a long time ago.
Dang, and he still, I bet you, and he would have dumped that girl. She the one walked out the apartment. I wouldn't have left. I'm sorry. And when she went there and flashed herself, the girl came out in the back. Then she got mad again. It's like she got her senses back, right? And she went over there, and he looked like he was down with it.
He was.
He was down with it. That's what I saw. And I was like, man, I know.
Now, if you want to act like that movie was a Cinderella movie, you can turn that into a Cinderella movie. Because when he bumped into her, he fell in love with her.
I think so.
Add all the things
I agree.
You want to add to it, take away everything you want to. But that was his world. That girl was his world. And he would have dropped that. But he knew happiness. He wasn't going to sit there and be miserable.
But even on the boat, even at the end.
On the yacht.
He tried to save her too.
All our maids and our servants on the yacht with us. And we're going to still do what we're going to do. He ain't care. He just was looking for happiness and enjoyability.
Yeah.
So he went with her because she wasn't stopping no happiness. She didn't mind being on that boat or that yacht with him in her bathing suit and stuff.
Yeah.
But he ain't love her like he loved Taji. But he still ain't mind doing that. But he was more real than Taji being with her old boyfriend, and she never even really liked him. I'm trying to enjoy ability out of it, even though he was with the one he loved.
All right, so let's wrap up, Mark. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, you're going to have to deal. Okay, what am I trying to say? Sorry, you guys. Resentment will cause a problem in a relationship. It will definitely do that. And if it gets really bad, even if you're not crazy, it'll cause the relationship to stop progressing. But if you ever stop and you want to and deal with your resentment, deal with your disappointment, deal with your anger, deal with your fear. If you can't do it together as a couple, then do it separately, because you can do it separately, and then your relationship can pick up again and start to move forward. Or you could just get out of the relationship. So many choices, so many options. But whatever you do, please don't live with resentment, because it'll eat you up like cancer. So if you like the show, or if you would like to contact me, you can email me at missdebbiesays@gmail.com. That's missdebbiesays@gmail.com. Once again, if you're looking for state-approved child development training, go to www.childcareedu.com. Thank you, Mark, for joining me. I hope that this show was helpful, maybe some of it, if not all of it. Take what you like, throw away what you don't. Just know it's just what Miss Debbie says. Have a good day.